In this lesson, we're going to see how to sell your solution. In fact, it's going to be pretty easy if you have been able to make a fact-finding based on the SOS, as we saw, because you have all the correct information and you know exactly how you are going to present it. So, first, let's see the big principles. It should follow the reformulation right away. We summarize and right away we go to presenting the solution. It should be about 10 to 15 minutes, no more, because otherwise that would be too long. And as I said before, on about 1 hour, it should be about 10 to 15 minutes, which is about 20 to 30% of the time maximum. It is easier also to present a global solution than just one piece of a solution. Most often salespeople try to sell just a TV or just a car, while if they present a global solution, it's going to be much easier than just to try to sell one product. And that's something pretty difficult to understand for new salespeople. You should begin with the ideal solution and then address if necessary. If you begin with a small price, it's going to be very difficult to increase your solution. So try to begin with the complete solution, the global solution. What's the global solution? It's, for example, the car plus everything that goes with the car, or the TV plus everything that goes with the TV. And then, if the customer finds it a bit too pricey, then you can begin to address and go to a more simple solution. But try at the beginning the global solution. There are many ways to argue your solution, and we are going to present you the different ways so that you can choose the one that fits you the best. Again, most salespeople, they don't have any idea on how to argue and propose their solution. So we are going to give you these different ways, and then you are going to be able to choose. And all are based on the SOS that we saw before, situation, objective, solution. So, first, before going to see some better ones, let's come to what we call the structure demonstrations. That's an old way of doing things, but still some salespeople use it. And you can still use it when you have always the same products to sell because it's easy to do. So, you first have the characteristic of your solution. Okay, for example, here it's a wiper with variable speed. Then you have the advantages for the customer, and the advantage is to be adjustable. Then you have the benefit, which is not the same. The advantage is the general advantage. The benefit is specific to the customer. That means that the customer will be safer in the car, and he might save a life for that, thanks to that. And then you get the yes from the customer. So, it's very structured. You have the characteristic, then the general advantage, then you present the benefit for the customer, and then you get a yes. If you always sell the same products, you know that perfectly well, so you can use it pretty easily. It's easy solution if you know your product very well, and if you only have a few, it's not the best one. But I present it to you for the case you would like to use it. Now, the SOS demonstration, and that is my favorite. S for the situation, we already saw that, So you can, when you restate, when you summarize, you can restate the situation, then the objective of the customer, and then you just have to prove that your solution is the only one or the best to reach the objective or the dream of the customer. Remember the motivation? We have it here too. So if you want to have a safe car, the best solution for you is to have this kind of wipers. And let me show you how it works. Okay? So, in your demonstration, again, you repeat the situation. You get yes. You repeat the objective, the dream, or the motivation of the customer. You get a yes from the customer or the client. And then you just have to prove that your solution is the best one or the only one that allows him to reach his objective. It's very simple. and it's very structured, and it's logical. So that you should know it by heart, you should know it perfectly well, you should be able to improvise that all the time. But you should also try to adapt it to your product or your service, which I can do here, obviously. Now we're going to see some variations from this simple SOS. And I want it simple, SOS, situation, objective, solution. First variable. The solution is still here, but you see that there are different arrows. Why? Because in fact, it's not the solution, it's a global solution, and the global solution is composed of different products, for example. The car, plus the insurance, plus the some special items, and all of them compose the global solution. And there is not only a logic between the situation, the objective, and the global solution between, but there is also the complementary logic of all these products together. So that's the best. You begin with that, and if that's not possible, then you take off one arrow and a second arrow, and you may finish by 2 or just by 1. But that's the best solution again. And it's easier for you, and it looks more professional to come with a global solution than to come just with one solution. But it's exactly the same principle. I just show it to you in a different way. Now, that's what I call the comparative SOS. That means that you still have the situation, we still have the objective, but we have a competitor in the face. Obviously, you don't mention competitors if there are no competitors. However, sometimes the customer tells you or the client tells you, but you have this competitor. In that case, you have no other solution than to take into account the fact that there is another competitor. Then you recognize that there is a competitor, but you don't try to tell that the competitor is very bad because the client would like it. So you admit, you accept that there is another competitor, and you are going to do even better. You're going to say it's true that a part of our solution is exactly the same, because it's true that in general, when there is a competitor, there is always the core of the solution, which is pretty much the same. But you want to admit that, so that after you are going to be stronger to explaining that you have a few characteristics in your solution that only allows the customer, the client, to reach his objective. So you focus, that demonstration allows you to focus on what you do, the difference that you have, and that will allow the customer to do better with your solution than with the competitor's one. You are even going to go further. You can say, okay, both solutions are good. And you don't want to criticize the competition, you know that. However, if you want to reach your objective, only our solution will be able to make it, because you need this characteristic, and without this characteristic in our solution, you won't be able to reach your objective. So that's the only solution, right? So that is very efficient when you have a competitor. Now there is another way too, which is a bit more complicated. You still have the situation, the objective, and you admit that there are two solutions. And you know very well that in each solution there are advantages and disadvantages. So that's one solution, the other solution. I'm going to ask you the question, which one is going to be your solution? This one or this one? You don't know? Obviously it's going to be this one. Why? Because the client always remembers what he heard at the end of the sentence. So you want to finish with your solution. So that's the first twist. There is also another twist. You see that here I begin with the plus, and here the less, I finish with the less. And here I begin with the disadvantage of our solution, but I finish with the advantage. So basically, you twist the demonstration by finishing with your solution and the advantages of your solution. So an example could be, okay, this car has this and this and this advantage. And that is very good, because you increase your credibility in front of the customer because you begin with the advantages of the competitive solution, which is pretty smart because you look very, very, neutral, which is not the case. But you say there is this disadvantage. As far as security, it's not exactly the best solution because of that and that and that. Here you begin with your solution. It's a bit more pricey, it's for sure. However, we have the security because of that and that and that. And you told me at the beginning that your key objective was the safety or the security, for example, of your car, your financial solution, or whatever. Okay? So you finish here with the advantage which corresponds to the objective he had at the beginning. Okay? So, situation, objective, advantage, disadvantage, and that could be, for example, it's not the most comfortable car. Here, it's not the cheapest one, it's a bit more expensive. However, it's more comfortable, and comfort is what you are looking for. So, you adapt your demonstration to the objective of the customer. Now, and here is another one. It's exactly the same one. But I presented the 2 hours here because we want to show that this solution provides more to the customer and allows him to reach his objective more easily. It's exactly the same, but presented in a different manner so that you can understand differently. So it's really up to you to choose the demonstration that fits you the best, or that you can have in your head when you're in front of the customer. Now, and I'm going to finish by this one. This one is more complicated, and you require to know exactly the characteristic of your other competitors. So on the left column here, you are going to put the needs of your customer, and I take here the motivations like safety, convenience, ego, money. I put money too. Then you have competitor 1, 2, and then 3, which is our solution. Then you have the features, and for the safety you can compare the different solutions. And for example, for competitor 1 is not very good for safety. Here it's about the same as our one, or the other ones, it's pretty much average. Here, if we compare, we are better than the 2 other ones. Same here, but here we're pretty much equal to this one. For ego, we are also equal. For money, we are better. So basically, if you compare all the different solutions, you have plus, equal, equal, plus. Basically, your solution is globally better than the other ones. Obviously, you have to prepare that. It's not very intuitive. You have to have that on paper. So I present it to you for the case you are in a sale where you know the competitors, you know the solution, and you can prepare that before with your team or with the sales director. Okay. Last one, in fact, is asking questions to get yes. And that's another technique. It's more difficult, I would say, but if you know your product and your competitors very well, it's easy to. Ask the objective of the customer. You told me that you want to reach this objective. Is that right? Yes. And then you go from the general to the specific until your solution. Example for a trading course, a day trading course. You want to work from home? Yes. You want to work without a boss? Yes. You want to limit your losses when you trade? Yes. You want to learn the best techniques in the world? Yes. You want to learn with the best specialists? Yes. You want to learn from home? Yes. Okay, so we have the perfect course for you because this is exactly what we provide. That is, the questions to get you yes all the time, and then at the end you can close. So I propose you a wide variety of demonstrations here. They're all good. Choose the best one that suits for you. My point of view is that the SOS is the most effective most of the time, but we want to present different solutions. So now we're going to see how to overcome the objections.